Hi. Well, like I promised, I am going to be installing today the Wi-Fi chipset on this, the RG351P, which, well, yeah, RG351P. So we need to get this into this. I think it's quite straightforward. You just open it up, chuck it in there. That's it. Now let's look at it properly. Roll an intro. Well, other YouTubers will probably appreciate the setup that, the setup that is always required when recording a video, especially when you've got soldering involved. So we'll see how that goes. So the main event today is to put a Wi-Fi chipset in this beauty. And yeah, here I have a Realtek Wi-Fi chipset, which apparently works. And this was the second one that has arrived, because the first one was massive, it was square, and it wasn't the correct one anyway. So to do this, what I will be doing is a slight modification. It's not going to be the exact installation as required, because my intention is to put an antenna that runs away from the audio side. Hopefully we can do that. So I've got this little antenna, which is from just a standard laptop coaxial cable. Put a piece of I put some thermal what's it called shrink tube on the end to close it up, and yeah, so it's just literally the center coaxial cable with the screen cable on the outside. So the idea is that I'm going to be soldering this directly to the board, and then the contact pins on the chipset will go onto the contact pins on the of the RG351, and that's it really. So all you'll need to do this is some flux. Liquid flux is probably the best because it's easy to solder with liquid flux, some solder or solder paste, whichever you prefer, and soldering iron. That's pretty much it. In fact, you could just get away with just a bit of solder and soldering iron, really. But the reality is that you should always solder with some flux. It makes it easier for the solder to flow, and creates less of a mess. So yeah, let's go with this, and let's see if my YouTube magic can do this. And like magic, we find everything set up. Look at this, amazing. No, nothing spectacular, nothing impressive. Let's see if I can adjust the angle a bit better. Perhaps like this will probably be easier for you to see. Yeah, unfortunately I have a camera which, well, I am using my iPhone to record all my videos. But I have a video out cable that goes over to a monitor. So when I look at the camera, I don't actually look at the camera. I know what I'm seeing because I have up there, which you can't see, I have a monitor. And it's connected, so I can do that. However, now it's going to be the soldering. I am an electronics engineer, so realistically I do solder and I do make a lot of stuff, but I have not made any videos on it because I've never found a real way to record. This kind of is the first time I am doing so let's see how this goes. Well, probably I have done a video in the past, I don't know. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is, like I said, it's solder this onto this. That's it. It's really straightforward, isn't it? So all I've got to do is remove the 4 screws at the back, just chuck this inside, and it'll work. Yeah, it's not quite like that. So, like I said, just use some solder. Nothing spectacular. Just a piece of solder. I'm going to use this much. I don't need all of the reel. I'm just showing you that I'm using the reel, and this is a, there it is. This is the solder I am using, so 0.5mm solder, and this should be lead free, but maybe I'm wrong. I did buy some lead free just for the use in videos, realistically, so you know, no one can say, oh, you're not using lead free solder, it's bad for the environment. To be honest, most repair shops, if not everyone, will probably tell you that the solder that you've had your device from, it's not the one that has been repaired with. And this is just flux, liquid flux. I have it in a pen, it's much easier, and let's go for it. Right, to remove the casing, it is literally a case of finding, there's usually a seam, and see this one, it kind of pops up by itself, so this is where it's going to come away from, and you just rip it out. Yeah, let's rip it off. And yeah, it has the battery connected to the back of the casing, so we remove this little connector, and that's the battery. So if you're replacing the battery, these are usually glued down, so you will have to just perhaps use some alcohol underneath, peel the battery off that way, and it'll be fine. So put that to the side, don't need it now. And this is the inside of the console. If anyone wanted to see this, then this is it. In my previous video, let me just remove these keys because they will fall off, and put them there. In my previous video, I did talk about the connectors at the top, and I don't know if anyone has asked or wondered this, but there is two USB-C sockets. However, only one of them will charge, and the reason for it is circuitry behind it. Now, if you look carefully here, you can see all of the little discrete circuitry, which has voltage regulators and all sorts of charging circuitry, which this one does not have. And that's pretty much the reason. It's the charging circuitry, it's literally just on this USB-C. That's the reason why it won't charge on the other. And it is something that they could have done, but no, because they would have had to have both USB connected to power, and this one does deliver power, not much, but it does deliver power to power the different gadgets, and that's the simple circuitry that it has. This one has the voltage regulators that is for charging. It goes directly to the CPU and all sorts of funky bits, or whatever you want to call them. Now, I'm not going to remove the board from the case. However, if this is the first time you're doing this, then my advice is that you remove the board from the case, because you'll end up melting the plastic, and it's not a really good thing. So to go ahead with this is just disconnect the speaker cable, which is here. And if you wanted, you could remove the joystick board. Now, it depends how well you think you can solder. Now, we have the little slot there, which is where the Wi-Fi chipset will go. So my iPhone has a funky feature, which every iPhone does, which is 2x zoom. Yeah. So I should be able to solder this with you being able to see, not well, actually, let's see, I can probably move the camera in a way that it gets closer and closer, and there, I don't know. Hopefully you can see this. Now, the Wi-Fi chip, it is literally the size of where it will go, and this is it, and it literally goes here. That's where it goes. That's it. So what I did notice, and I don't know if you can see this, anyone who is has an eye on this can probably see the little residue of where it looks as if they did have something soldered on here. So there was a problem where they removed the Wi-Fi chips on the versions that were supposed to be shipped with the Wi-Fi chipset, because of interference, sound interference or something. So that is where it goes. Now, in my case, obviously this is where the these little contacts here, these 3 contacts is where you've got your ground and signal, and for the antenna really, this is where it will go, the antenna. Now I'm not going to be using this because I'm just wondering whether this plane has something to do with the interference, so I will be using, like I said, this coaxial cable. So in this case, I won't be using these. I'll just be connecting the data lines, and hopefully it works. So in my case, I will be soldering onto here my antenna. So just bear with me a second and I will solder it, so it will be done, and then you'll see the finished product of my antenna with the my Wi-Fi chip with the antenna, and then I'll be just sort of showing you how to solder this on without too many problems. So just bear with me and jump cut. Yeah, this is the Wi-Fi chip that I've just put an antenna on, so that's pretty much what it is. It's just got a cable and so on. And the reason is because, like I said, I want to try and see if rerouting the aerial or the antenna somewhere else will decrease the issue. It may do, may not do anything. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let me just raise the camera so I can show you more, and I'll place this over here. Yeah, so let's say I'll place it in a way that you can see. I'm going to put it there like that. So actually no, because I can't solder like that. I have to put it wrong way around, because I can solder like this. Yep, and maybe you can see. So we have the chipset. So just place the chipset down, and it matches perfectly. So what I'm going to do is first I want to be able to make sure that these pads are clean and tidy. So I'll just put some flux over. And you can see that there's lines, and that it should fit perfectly inside this square, and it does, so it must be the right one. Let's clean the tip. So we've got a nice clean tip, and the way I do it is I grab one of the pins and solder one at the first. So you just solder one and it stays there. So then after, while I've done this, I can grab my solder. I don't know why I've got a tiny piece, because I could have got a bigger one. Grab my solder. First I like to flux it up. Okay. Then I grab the solder. And as you can see, just all you gotta do is just dab a bit, and you just dab and dab again, and dab and dab. Not the kind of dab that kids do, you know, like that, not that dab. I don't know, which one, where did it come from? Is it the that game, Fork and Knife? I don't know what it was called. Fortnite. And that's it really. That's done. It's probably one of the easiest jobs that anyone can do. It's not difficult at all. The yeah, okay, the spacing between there, it's probably about a millimeter between one pad and the other, but there's solder mask, you've got flux, it's easy, you don't have to worry about that. So let's zoom back out. Let's move the mat there. Okay, there. Move all our stuff, and what I said I was going to do, which I did do, and I will finish, is that I have the wire there. Okay, so then the last thing that we do here is just grab the flex, push it back into the slot. Try not to damage these because they are quite hard to remake in that size, but then again, they are readily available if you do. Then we get our speaker and just plug it back in, and that's it. And then we get a back cover which has our battery, and push this in as well. Then we get our buttons. Now make sure that you remember where they go. So this is left, which goes on to the right side because it's upside down. This is another left, so again it goes on the right side. Then our right one goes onto the left side, again because it's upside down, it's mirrored, isn't it? And then this one, and that's it. So then after we just put the cover back on, click it into place. That's all clicked in. Yay. That's it. That's done. So that's our console. Should we see if it still powers on? It does. It still powers on. Now I'm going to place it. Okay, that's the vibration motor. That's fine. There, can you see what I mean by my screen? It's see, my screen is up there. Oh, okay, you can't see. There was a reflection of it. I heard a little buzzing sound actually. Let's go into settings. Is this? Can you see it properly? I don't know. I can't. I sort of can't. I'm upside down. So we go down to this. I've got it in Italian, by the way. So yeah, go there, and we've got virus, which is my SSD. Is it SSID? So yeah, it does pick it up. It is my wireless network, so it does pick up my wireless network, and that's it. So it does work, which is pretty cool because now we have Wi-Fi inside the RG351P. Now the only thing I'm going to say is that if you install one of these and you get the annoying interference, all you have to do once you finish this is, okay, it's searching. Okay, all you have to do once you finish this, you just go here, and once you finish the Wi-Fi activity, you just switch it off, and once it's off, then there's no issue because the Wi-Fi chipset is actually off, and that's it. So I do hope you have enjoyed this fantastic video, and I hope that you click the subscribe button. I don't even know where it is anymore, but please do subscribe to us, to me rather. Press the bell icon to make sure that you stay up to date when I do release videos. And if I've done anything wrong, or whether you think you want to say something to me or anything like that, then please write a comment below, because I will, just down there somewhere, there's a comment box. Just click on it and write a comment to me. We can chat. I don't know, whatever you want to say to these videos. Anyway, this has been a Techno Review. I hope you enjoyed this, and goodbye.